Hi guys, welcome back to The Social Tune. And some of you may be a little bit confused by that title. I mean, didn't I just do a best list last month? Where's the worst list? Well, I actually ran a poll on Twitter a while back asking if we could counterbalance some of the negativity in the world by doing 3 best lists in a row. And by overwhelming majority, you guys agreed, meaning that the worst lists will resume in May. So yeah, if you want to be part of that discussion in the future, then why not follow me at The Social Tune, link in the description. And now that I'm done whoring myself out, 2008 was a very transitional year for music. A year caught between the greatness of 2007 and the awfulness of 2009. And I'll be honest, while I was able to find a fair number of songs in order to put this list together, I can definitely see people's opinions on this ranking varying pretty wildly. This is a year where the quality is very much based on your own personal tastes and opinions, much like 2014, with very little common ground or consensus between critics. And with that in mind, some of these choices are bound to surprise you. So let's not waste any more time, I am late on this as it is, let's dive into the honorable mentions.
Like smoking the thinnest air, I open the Lamborghini, hoping them crackers see me. Like, look at that bastard Weezy. He's a beast, he's a dog, he's the motherfucking problem. Okay, you're a goon, but what's a goon to a goblin?
Now, I know that a lot of my viewers are no big fans of Lil Wayne, but in 2008, you could not deny that he was on top of the world, making hits left and right and actually trying. Okay, he still had some bad songs and whack bars here or there, but it's certainly all a lot better than Love Me. And to many, this was his crowning achievement, pure, unscripted bars for 4 minutes. And yeah, not every single line connects, and that repeated sample can get a tad annoying, but for what it is, it's pretty damn impressive. And while I can definitely see some people getting annoyed at me for not actually putting it on the list, I can still definitely appreciate it. Plus, trust me, if you're looking to get annoyed, you'd better save some of that rage for later. Sooner than expected, I guess. Yeah, it's a dumb club anthem, but it's just fun. To me, this characterized my dance floor days a lot more than songs like In the Club, mostly because you can actually dance to it. And I'll give it to Flo Rida, I can totally see why this was the biggest song of the year. With an unbelievably sticky hook and some pretty impressive spitting, at least by his standards. Even T-Pain is fantastic on this, basically filling in the role for Lil Jon as the hype man, and simultaneously completely redeeming what a generally lousy 2007 he had. Great song, definitely one I can get down to. And speaking of club jams that I can always bust a move to, this was one of Rihanna's earliest hits, and to me, it holds up so much better than a lot of her other music released back then. I mean, you can have your own opinions, but personally, I will always take Riri interpolating Michael Jackson over dull nothings like Shut Up and Drive. Maybe not quite one of my absolute favorites from her, but still easily one of the best songs of her entire career.
But I never thought that you would take it this far. What do I know?
There are plenty of artists who feel pressure from the paparazzi invading their privacy. There are some who choose to embrace it sarcastically, while others compare them to Nazis. Okay, it's a little extreme, but it definitely does grab your attention. This song is actually pretty short, being under 3 minutes, but damn does it take advantage of every single second it has. On top of that, the production is just gorgeous, with fantastic strings, chintzy synths, and a great hook with a looped sample of the uncredited Australian singer Connie Mitchell. Not the best of the graduation singles, but since Homecoming wasn't a hit, I guess this'll have to do. My relationship with Madonna is a strange one. She has made some fantastic music over the years, but looking back through her discography, all of her albums are a little bit inconsistent. And while she was huge in her heyday, many of you probably forgot she even had a hit in 2008. But boy is it a good one, pairing fantastic, majestic horns with a razor-tight beat from Timbaland. Not to mention, Madonna sounds phenomenal over it with a ton of natural charisma. The weak point, oddly enough, is actually Justin Timberlake. Oh, he's definitely not bad, but he's clearly playing second fiddle to Madonna. She's just such a bigger presence on this track. That and the somewhat nonsensical lyrics do keep it off the list proper, but it's certainly still a forgotten gem that definitely deserves better.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear, the camera's here.
Oh yeah, Lupe has made way better songs than this. I would much rather see Kick Push here, and even his other big hit, Show Goes On, is a much better song in my opinion. That said though, this is still a phenomenally talented rapper cracking the top 10 with insightful bars about just what stardom can really mean. Both the glamorous side that they show to the camera and the ugliness that is underneath it all. So yeah, great job Lupe, can't wait until you get serious about your music once again.
And he says, our song is a slam and scream door, sneaking out late, tapping on your window when we're on the phone and you talk real slow.
Okay, I'm sure that many of you, especially the country fans, will raise some eyebrows at this. I mean, it's country era cutesy Princess Taylor Swift. And yeah, part of me does find it absolutely hilarious comparing old Taylor to new Taylor, but this is still a genuinely sweet song. Great fiddle, fun banjo, an incredibly catchy melody, all paired with lyrics that just put a smile on my face. Basically, her boyfriend and her don't have a song of their own, so they decide to make their own song. One that reflects all of the escapades that they have got up to together. Yes, it's cutesy and precious, but sometimes I need a song like this. And even to this day, it is always a song that I can look back on fondly. Also, yes, it's better than Teardrops on My Guitar. Fight me!
I'm in love with a girl who knows me better. Fell for the woman just when I met her. Took my sweet time when I was bitter. Someone understands.
Okay, so in my new series of retrospective rambles, one song that a lot of people have recommended to me is Not Over You by Gavin DeGraw. But of his hits, I would say that this is the one that people forget most often. Which really sucks because it's honestly a great song. It's not complex in the least, basically just a love song to the girl who makes his life better. And I also love that he doesn't show the relationship as perfect. They fight, they argue, they disagree, but ultimately they are good for each other. All culminating in that fantastic chorus where he just cries out his love for her. This was incredibly close to making the actual list, and believe me, if it was just a little bit more lyrically detailed, it would be there. What a jam. Fuck you, it's fun. I'm no big fan of the Jonas Brothers, but even I can't deny what a catchy pop tune this is. Taking the disco groove that Joe Jonas attempted to recreate on Cake by the Ocean and not filling it with shrill, high-pitched vocals. Instead dropping into a lower range that flatters him a lot more. In fact, all of them are really good here, especially Nick on the hook. It's a genuinely catchy, upbeat pop song that ends up being better than any of the other songs Disney released that year. Silly? Yes. Clever? No. Wildly enjoyable? Yes. But if you think that putting it on this list rid me of my last shreds of credibility, just wait till you see my next pick. I know, it's repetitive as hell, which is why it's not in the top 10 properly, but otherwise, I love this. The shrill, distorted synths, Britney sounding genuinely great on the hook, and lyrics that I can definitely get behind, shaming this guy for his womanizing ways. It's a track where Britney is blatantly flaunting her sexuality, but is also in full control of it, keeping this guy who is clearly used to getting his way firmly under her thumb. Yes, the video is ridiculous, and I could certainly see why someone would dislike this song, but for me, it all comes together surprisingly well. Easily one of my favorite songs from Britney, no matter how controversial that may be. And now that we got the most embarrassing portion of this video out of the way, let's get to the top 10. So when putting together top 10 lists for the 2000s and prior, many critics are faced with the challenge of classics. Songs that have been deemed absolutely quintessential in music history. So the challenge for us becomes putting aside the general consensus and just sticking to what we enjoy. After all, these lists are entirely subjective, otherwise they would just get repetitive and interchangeable. With that said though, from time to time, the general public gets it absolutely right.
I'm liking this American boy, American boy. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA. I really want to come pick you with you. You'll be my American boy, American boy.
It kind of baffles me that this British artist hasn't seen more success over the years. Since her big hit, she has continually released music, even getting a minor hit with this.
This is the way we found, even though they'll let you down.
It's not good, but it's still one of David Guetta's best songs. And she was a legitimately talented singer, so why did we shove her aside so quickly? Well, to be honest, I blame the stagnation of her career almost entirely on that hook.
Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA.
I mean, that is just iconic. You are never gonna top that moment. Let's face it, many of you know the chorus to this song and none of the rest of it. Which kinda sucks because the verses are actually a lot of fun.
Like the way he's speaking, his confidence is peaking. Don't like his baggy jeans, but I like what's underneath it.
Estelle wants to be treated right by this boy as they travel together to America. Kanye, in turn, takes the perspective of the American visiting London.
This is #1 champion sound. Yeah, Estelle, we about to get down. Who the hottest in the world right now? Just touched down in London town.
They have absolutely fantastic chemistry as both of them are cocky and confident and neither of them is completely fawning over the other. They're just painted as equals, both of them mainly interested in just where the other is from and just in the mood for an exciting fling. And you know what? When it's done right, I can definitely appreciate a song like that. Oh, and then Kanye takes over the entire second half of the song and reminds us all exactly why he was so huge back in the day.
Who killing them in the UK? Everybody gonna say UK. He crazy, I know what you're thinking. Rapping, I know what you're drinking. Rap singer, chain blinger. Holla at the next chick soon as you're blinking. Dress smart like a London bloke. Before he speak, his suit be spoke. And you thought he was cute before. Look at this peacoat, tell me he's broke.
Pair it all with fantastic and classy instrumentation, and you have one of the most sophisticated anthems to a summer fling that many of us will ever hear. Undoubtedly a classic. What a great tune. I'm doing this under protest. Yes, I like Forever more than any song released by Kanye in 2008. I don't like it any more than you do. But there's no denying it, Forever is a damn great pop song.
Tonight is the night. You join me in the middle of ecstasy. Feel the melody and the rhythm of the music around you, around you.
Much like 2009, a lot of the music released in 2008 was there to make you dance. And so, even people like Chris Brown started making their sappy love songs more upbeat and danceable. And I'll be blunt, this is quite frankly the best that Chris Brown has ever sounded on a track.
We can be two rebels, breaking the rules, me and you and I. All you gotta do is watch me. Look what I can do with my feet, baby. Feel the beat inside.
He's invested, he's earnest, he's confident, he's charming, and he's not acting like an asshole or a stupid kid. Sure, it's a performance that Usher could give in his sleep, but considering this is a man who I detest so much, it's honestly impressive how thoroughly he blows past all of my defenses.
Gazing your eyes got me saying what a beautiful lady. No ifs and maybes, releasing my heart and it's feeling amazing.
Another really good element to this song is the beautiful R&B production. With the watery atmospherics, the shimmery bass beat that builds throughout the verses, and of course that fantastic hook. It's a song where Chris Brown is promising to sweep you off your feet and dance with you forever. Sure, it's corny and technically impossibly exhausting, but the emotion's still genuine, with this being the key line. That's just it. It's a dance song based on trusting the person you're dancing with. And being wooed along the way is just an unexpected and welcome perk.
It's like I waited my whole life for this one night. Me, you, and the day you and the dance floor. We only got one night. Double your pleasure, double your fun, and dance forever.
It's a genuinely great dance song, and while I am loath to praise this piece of shit on this channel, credit where it's due, this is still a pretty kick-ass track. Ha! Of course I wasn't gonna let Chris Brown beat Kanye. He's done more than enough beating in his time. It was right there!
So keep your love locked down, your love locked down, keeping your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down, you lose.
So some of you may be confused why this is so low on the list, especially considering how much I have praised Kanye's 808s and Heartbreaks in the past. Well, to be honest, the more I revisit his discography, the more The College Dropout just seems like the better album to me. And even aside from that, this was never one of my favorite songs. I'm a much bigger fan of songs like RoboCop or Heartless or Welcome to Heartbreak.
I'm not loving you way I wanted to, what I had to do, had to run from you. I'm in love with you, but the vibe is wrong, and it haunted me all the way home.
With all that said though, this is still an incredibly potent and pain-filled auto-tuned anthem from Kanye, where he reflects on just how much easier it is to shut yourself down and keep your love locked away to avoid getting hurt.
Till we lose control, systematic, screaming no, 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 no.
I love how expressive he gets as the song goes on, especially on the build-up to the hook, where the pianos join the fray to prepare you for the burst of tribal drums and that chorus.
Now keep your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down, you lose.
Those two words, "you lose," are the most telling ones on the entire track. Both directed at the manipulative lover who is not going to beat him down, as well as at himself. Because after all, what's life really worth without love?
I'm not loving you way I wanted to. I can't keep my cool, so I keep it true. I got something to lose, so I gotta move. I can't keep myself and still keep you too.
This is a song that expertly combines defiance and desperation with the sad knowledge that doing so won't make you happy. But that's just the thing, the song isn't driven by logic, it's just driven by primal instinct to not get hurt again. Hence why the instrumentation, and especially the outro, are as animalistic and wild as they are. Again, not my favorite on 808s, and I can totally see someone not really liking this, but for me, it hits that sweet spot in just the right way, resulting in an absolutely phenomenal track. Great job as usual, Kanye. Personally, I'll never keep my love for you locked away.
We say
So there are two kinds of kick-ass music out there. The kind that pumps you up and fills you with emotion, and the kind where the singer literally sounds like they want to kick your ass. And boy oh boy, you just gotta love it when a song falls into both categories.
So what? I'm still a rock star. I got my rock moves, and I don't need you. And guess what? I'm having more fun. And now that we're done, I'm gonna show you tonight. I'm alright. I'm just fine.
Remember this little gem from 2016?
I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. Nigga, nah.
Many people overlook it as one of the lesser songs on Lemonade, mostly because it is. But that doesn't mean it's not damn potent, showing off a person who says she's not sorry, but whose delivery betrays that sentiment more and more as the song goes on. But not only did Pink do it first, I'd argue she actually did it better.
I guess I just lost my husband. I don't know where he went. So I'm gonna drink my money. I'm not gonna pay his rent. I got a brand new attitude and I'm gonna wear it tonight.
This song has Pink mourning the loss of her husband, Carey Hart, after their separation earlier that year. As you'd expect, she's bitter and angry and acting out and saying she doesn't care. But that chorus definitely shows otherwise.
And I don't need you. And guess what? I'm having more fun. And now that we're done, I'm gonna show you tonight. I'm alright. I'm just fine.
That Marshall beat, the filthy guitar, and those backing synths are a perfect backdrop to the turmoil she's clearly going through. Shouting out and screaming that she's alright and that she's a prototypical rock star who doesn't care.
The waiter just took my table and gave it to Jessica Sims. I guess I'll go sit with Drum Boy, at least I'll know how to hit. What if this song's on the radio, then somebody's gonna die. I'm gonna get in trouble, my ex will start a fight.
The great thing about this is that she's not only exposing her own bullshit, but also the bullshit of any laid-back, too-cool-for-school, disaffected rock star. It's perfectly human to feel pain and act out. You can't always control yourself, and everyone has a breaking point. You just have to have the balls to admit it to the world as well as to yourself. Which Pink finally does do on that heartbreaking bridge.
You weren't there, you never were, you want it all, but that's not fair. I gave you life, I gave my all, you weren't there, you let me fall.
It's rare for a song to sound so kick-ass and anthemic, and yet simultaneously be so emotionally complex. And as far as I'm concerned, it's easily one of the best songs of Pink's entire career. There is a good reason that many of us remember her as one of the greats of her day, and all we can hope for now is that she eventually pivots back towards it in the future. Awesome!
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
We sing away, and the voices ring like the angels sing, away.
The following segment is made for humorous purposes only and does not reflect the beliefs of your beloved critic. Please do not impale him for making fun of your other favorite music critics, as there is no malice behind it. Normally I wouldn't put this here, but this is the internet and some people are just idiots. Certain people have fucked up. That's right, I'm talking to you, Todd in the Shadows, and you, Mr. 96. These so-called music critics have made unforgivable mistakes and haven't even apologized for it. What? Mr. 96 did apologize. Mr. Shadows! Oh, just play it. So yeah, despite what some people have said, this song was actually a hit in 2008, long before it was a hit in 2009. I ask you, what kind of music critic would make mistakes in their video? Okay, I misspelled Genuine's name, shoot me!
I see your dirty face hide behind your collar. What is done in vain? Truth is hard to swallow, so you pray to God to
Anyway, getting back to the track in question, I was really on the fence whether this or So What had more of a rock swagger to it. But while So What was made to dissect the rock star life, Let It Rock is celebrating it. There is nothing deep or complex about this, it just kicks ass. And honestly, from time to time, that's kind of refreshing.
But it broke his heart, so he stuck his middle finger to the world, to the world, to the world. And you take your time, and you're standing right.
This is the kind of song that was just made for games like Guitar Hero. It's egotistical, massive, unapologetic, but it just goes balls to the wall with all of it. It even has weird cryptic lyrics that don't mean anything but sound awesome. And then of course you have the best Lil Wayne contribution of the entire year.
Wayne's World, Planet Rock, panties drop, and the top. And she gon' rock to the camera stop. I sing about angels like Angel I rock, and pay my life, rock, and Samadai, rock, and Amadai, and Tamara, me Najee Moi.
Some of you may prefer a Millie or one of his other countless features from 2008, but for me, this is where he peaked that year. Again, it's nothing complex, but it sounds epic.
Dirty like socks that's on the ground. We say,
Because when I arrive, I'll bring the fire, make you come alive.
This is basically one of those songs that's all about walking into a room with nothing to prove and yet still impressing everybody. And the fact that it also manages to inspire that emotion in the listener is a testament to its quality. Absolutely great song, one that I can always return to.
But I can't and I won't live a lie. No, not this time.
We sing, "Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey," and the voices ring like the angels sing. I'm singing, "Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey."
You're gonna be my man, understand. I can't be safe. I can't be safe. I can't be blamed.
Why do pop starlets feel the need to prove that they're edgy? Occasionally it can turn out alright, but so often it just results in an utter train wreck. Well, maybe it's because this one artist tried it to massive success in 2008, netting her a #1 hit and plenty of critical acclaim. And you can definitely see why.
So if you must pause, I'll be right. This mind can disturb me now. It's like the darkness is the light. Disturb me now. Am I scaring you now? Disturb me now. Ain't used to what you like. Disturb me now. Disturb me now.
Believe it or not, there was a time in pop music where dark, sinister ballads were not the norm. And unlike a lot of those songs that we get nowadays, this one had genuine teeth, quality, and, dare I say it, a sense of fun to it.
It's a thief in the night to come and grab you. It can creep up inside you and consume you. A disease of the mind, it can control you. It's too close for comfort.
The title of this song really does make the intention of it pretty clear to you. It's here to shock you and disturb you, but also intrigue you. And it certainly does so with a number of very clever and effective elements. For one, you have those cryptic lyrics about her waking up and describing her surroundings in incredibly colorful detail.
I'm alive, I'm my head, don't wanna think about it. Feels like I'm going insane, yeah.
Next, you have the call and response of the verses with the vocals at the front and the back of the mix.
Faded pictures on the wall. It's like they talking to me. Disconnected, no call. The phone don't even ring.
And of course, the main hook of the entire song. That chanting has absolutely no meaning to it, and if you look at it on paper, it actually looks pretty silly, but they produce it to make it sound like a demonic, cultish chant. And it matches the rest of the desperate, dark tone of the song to a T. All of which is, of course, assisted by the video.
A disease of the mind, it can control you. I feel like a monster. Oh, you're in the city of lies.
Rihanna has made a lot of really good videos in her day, but this one might just be her best. It is so stylized. Really, all of this is enough to make you wonder why she ever even bothered to make this.
Bitch better have my money. Bitch better have my money.
You never needed to prove you are hardcore and intense, Rihanna. You proved that long ago. Almost everybody I know loves this song, and while I may personally prefer Umbrella, this is still awesome and terrifying in the best possible way.
We sing "Ay-oh-ay-oh-ay-oh-ay," and the voices ring like the angels sing. I'm singing "Ay-oh-ay-oh-ay-oh-ay."
Well, let's see. I mentioned Disturbia, I included some Kanye West songs, and I even called Forever one of Chris Brown's best tracks. So how can I possibly be even more predictable?
I should know that you're no good for me. 'Cause you're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down, you're wrong when it's right, it's black and it's white. We fight, we break up, we kiss, we make up.
Those of you who are watching this channel for the first time may be wondering what the hell I've been smoking to place this above Disturbia, but any regular viewer would have told you that this was bound to make the list. Because yeah, I generally really love Katy Perry.
You don't really wanna go. You're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down.
When I was putting this list together, this and my number 3 just kept edging up the list. Neither of which are typically picks for a lot of other critics. But I honestly don't see why not. After all, this is everything that is great about Katy Perry. With the wildly insensitive and hilariously inappropriate lyrics,
Yeah, you be a mess, like a bitch, I would know.
that unbelievably catchy hook,
'Cause you're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down.
and Katy Perry's ugly delivery that somehow matches so well with this production.
Used to laugh about nothing, now you're plain boring. I should know that you're not gonna change.
Overall, this is just a quintessential track for her, up there with others like Last Friday Night and Teenage Dream. Not that it's anywhere near as clever as those songs, you heard me, but the tastelessness, the wonderful earworm, and the iconic feel of the entire track made it so I really couldn't place it any lower than this.
You change your mind like a girl changes clothes. 'Cause you're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down.
At this point, I'm wondering if any of Katy Perry's old hits have a chance to miss one of these lists. You know it's bad when even this had a chance to make my honorable mentions.
I kissed a girl and I liked it, the taste of her cherry chapstick.
I have a serious problem.
You're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down.
We sing "Ay-oh-ay-oh-ay-oh-ay," and the voices ring like the angels sing. I'm singing "Ay-oh-ay-oh-ay-oh-ay."
Don't win my love. That heart is so cold, all over my own. I don't wanna know that, babe.
So many critics seem to agree that this is a great song. I just seem to like it just that little bit more, as I consider it to be the best hit of 2014 and one of Ed Sheeran's top 3 songs of all time. Similar case with this next song, because while most people can definitely agree that they like it, for me, it works on a visceral level like few others did in 2008.
Come closer, come closer, and I just can't pull myself away under a spell I can't break. I just can't stop. I just can't stop. I just can't stop.
I've said in the past that Ne-Yo seems a tad underrated to me. He's a great singer who is known for sounding incredibly earnest, but he also knows how to bring you a good time with dance jams like Give Me Everything and especially Time of Our Lives. And while a song like So Sick is a great example of him at his most emotionally potent, for me, this is his absolute crowning achievement.
Turn the music up in here. I still hear her loud and clear, like she's right there in my ear, telling me that she wants to own me.
Content-wise, this is nothing all that special, basically just a sex/love song about him and this girl coming together closer and closer, both emotionally and physically, to the point where he can't bring himself to pull away from her in either way.
I just can't bring myself away, but I don't want to escape. I just can't stop.
What makes the song so fantastic though is the execution, with the phenomenal tight groove and the wonderful shimmering guitars on the verses that set the romantic atmosphere described in the lyrics perfectly.
I can feel her on my skin. I can taste her on my tongue.
And all of it builds to easily one of the best hooks of Ne-Yo's entire career, with blasts of synths that sync up incredibly well with his earnest vocals. Not to mention that absolutely gorgeous and atmospheric bridge.
I just can't stop. No, I just can't stop it. No, I just can't stop.
I'm well aware that this is a song that most people might place in the honorable mentions or maybe the bottom 5, but I can't help it. I just love it so much. Easily my favorite Ne-Yo song, and also easily one of the best hits of 2008. So now let's see what topped it.
We sing, "Ayo, ayo, ayo, ay," and the voices ring like the angels sing. I'm singing, "Ayo, ayo, ayo, ay."
So remember what I said about classics?
I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman Catholic choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you've gone, it was never an honest word. And that was when I ruled the world.
I'll fully admit that I am not a die-hard fan of Coldplay, something that some of my close friends will absolutely crucify me for saying. I really don't like some of their songs that others consider quintessential, like Paradise, and I'm a huge fan of some hits that others would ignore, like Sky Full of Stars. With that said though, even non-fans can certainly appreciate this, and so can I.
I used to rule the world, seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone, sweep the streets I used to own.
This song is so thoroughly rooted into the public consciousness that it's honestly really hard to talk about. I mean, everything about it is iconic, from the strings that open it up, to that echoing kick drum on the chorus, to the lyrics that you should all know by heart, to that tremendous hook that could go head to head with many of the rock classics throughout the ages.
For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name, never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world.
The lyrics are cryptic, but they basically tell the story of a king who was led to rule the world by God, who originally came up from nothing and is now brought to ruin. It's not a happy song, but it somehow manages to be so anthemic.
One minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand.
This song kind of feels like it should soundtrack some type of war, as it's simultaneously epic and grandiose as hell, but also mournful and melancholic, where every single word expands the lyrical tapestry and leaves you in awe. This was my go-to campfire song alongside Hotel California back in the day, and if I'm comparing it to that classic, that should tell you how much I love it. Coldplay have been called many harsh things over the course of their career, but across all of their discography, this song seems to be the one constant, the one song everybody can agree on. And now that I've opened the floodgates to the inevitable stream of comments telling me that I'm wrong and you hate it and how dare I presume to know you, let's finally get to what could have actually been better.
We sing, "Ayo, ayo, ayo, ay," and the voices ring like the angels sing. I'm singing, "Ayo, ayo, ayo, ay."
So Viva La Vida is an unquestionable classic through and through, the type of song that would normally easily top one of these lists. However, in this case, believe it or not, it never stood a chance. Because it was going up against one of my favorite songs of all time. A song that many of you have actually asked my opinion on in the past, especially considering the artist in question topped my list of the best hit songs of 2010. And while giving the answer then would have spoiled the result of this list, I am so glad to finally get it off of my chest.
Head underwater, and you tell me to breathe easy for a while. The breathing gets harder, even I know that.
I am not kidding. I think that Love Song is one of the best songs of all time. It would make my personal top 20. The kind of incredibly clever and insanely catchy pop song that puts a smile on my face and manages to work for me on every conceivable level.
Made room for me, but it's too soon to see if I'm happy in your hands. I'm unusually hard to hold on to.
First of all, you have those forceful piano leads, which are downright amazing and instantly recognizable, eventually punctuated by an electric guitar as the song progresses. And it all comes together beautifully with that utterly wonderful chorus.
I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you asked for it, 'cause you need one, you see.
Then of course you have Sarah Bareilles herself, whose fantastic voice just oozes charisma effortlessly. There is nothing put on about her. What you see is what you get. And what I see is Chelsea Peretti.
Can you go be depressed over there? You're bumming out my whole area.
Seriously, these two have to be the same person, right?
I'm trying to let you hear me as I am. I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you asked for it.
Seriously though, she sounds beautiful with a wonderful cool attitude that characterizes her on her best songs. But enough beating about the bush, let's take a look at the lyrics.
I learned the hard way that they all say things you wanna hear. My heavy heart sinks deep down under you.
In this song, she's being confronted and guilt-tripped by this guy who wants her to write a love song for him, which is basically symbolic of him asking her if she loves him. However, she doesn't feel comfortable yet to say it, as past relationships have taught her to be wary. And when he starts threatening to leave her if she doesn't say it, she simply says that that's not good enough.
All I have is leaving. I need a better reason to write you a love song today.
It's a song where she is adamantly sticking to her guns and refusing to give in until she feels like it. Which, I'll be honest, in this situation is exactly what you should do. After all, nobody can tell you you're in love. You should only say it when you know you mean it.
I'm not gonna write you to stay. If all you have is leaving, I'ma need a better reason to write you a love song today.
This is just an awesome song in every sense, one where every single second just fills me with joy. Heck, this is a song so amazing that even its backstory kicks ass. Apparently, Sarah Bareilles' label wanted her to open up her album Little Voice with a love song, and when she said she didn't want to, they forced her into it. So she proceeded to write an entire song about how she'll only write a love song once she feels like it. Fucking genius.
I believe there's a way you can love me because I say I won't write you a love song.
This song is a masterpiece, the kind of song we do not get in the charts often enough, and one that I'm still baffled was as big as it was, as it spent 19 consecutive weeks in the top 10. It absolutely deserves it though, as it's easily my favorite hit song of 2008 and possibly the 2000s in general. Phenomenal job, Sarah Bareilles. Thank you so much for just being you.
Is that why you wanted a love song? 'Cause you asked for it, 'cause you need one. You see, I'm not gonna write you a love song.
So, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Please let me know your own thoughts on this year down in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to see what people think of 2008. Again, I'm really sorry this was late, but I feel much more motivated than I have in a long time, so hopefully I'll be back on track very soon. But anyway, if there are any other years in music that you'd like me to make a top 10 for, then please post them in the comments or tweet them at me at The Social Tune, link in the description. In the meantime, please subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and until the next time, I'm Finn, and this is The Social Tunes signing off.
Yeah.